Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Didi Got a Podcast. I'm your host, Didi. As always, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Please hit the like button on your way in. It really, really helps the video quite a bit, especially for channels like mine, where a lot of my videos are shadow banned, but you all already know that. If there's not a live that you want to miss, this is one of those lives. If there is a live where you want to watch the live all the way through, this will be the live for that, especially the end of this video, because we're going to play just a little bit of Candace's video. We're not going to play the entire 40 minutes. We'll probably play maybe the first 10-15 minutes because that's all I need, because it's not even a discussion. It's not even a debate. Freemasons run the world. I think this channel, many other channels, and people in real life have proven this over and over and over. We're not talking about your brothers or your sisters or your cousin or your uncle or your dad that may be a Freemason. We're talking about the powerful ones. Freemasons run this world. It's not the land of the free. America is the land of the free Masons, the free and accepted Masons. And we've been talking about this forever on this channel. Yeah, I know it's weird to be openly talking about that on YouTube, but I've been doing it for a while. I watched Candace's video yesterday. If I hear one more person say something along the lines of, it's the people around Trump. I don't know what's gotten into Trump. I don't know why Trump turned on MAGA. Trump turned his back on us. I don't know who's gotten into Trump's ear. No, that's not what happened. Nobody got in his ear. Trump is doing what Trump is supposed to do. All right, somebody said I sound echoey. Is there an echo? I need to know here in the next 10 seconds so that I can get on the roll here. Is there an echo or do I sound fine? Oh. Could y'all even hear me? That's so crazy. My mic was that way. Okay. But the pretty gist of what I just said is this. Freemasons run this world. It's the land of the free and accepted Masons. That's not a debate. This country was not founded by Christians. A lot of them worshiped other deities, right? But that's a conversation for another day. We're going to play maybe about 10-15 minutes of Candace's video where she responded to Trump and Trump's Truth Social post. And I have so many things that I'm so confused about because she keeps giving people passes. And here's another thing. I've been giving Candace a pass in the sense of I haven't went as hard on Candace because Candace has done a lot of great work. She's done a lot of things that I agree with. A lot of people feel that Candace has controlled our position. And if I'm Candace in that position, I would do certain things to try to convince people that I'm not. And I think not to bash the video because I enjoyed the video, but I disagree with some things, including continuously giving Trump passes. Why does Trump continue to get these? And what I mean by pass is saying things like talking about the Butler situation without questioning Trump's potential role in it or other things about it. Like it seems like it's everybody but Trump. The Epstein files, fire Pam Bundy, but Trump gets a pass. It's Pam Bundy's, it's Cash Patel's, Dan Bongino's fault. What about this person, right? We're going to end this video off after we react to the first 10-15 minutes of Candace's clip, which again is all we'll need to then go to the Illuminati card game. It's important. If you've never seen an extensive conversation about the Illuminati card game, this is the video. I've been alluding to it in this video, the Kanye video I just dropped. If you have not seen that yet, I would highly encourage you to go and watch that video that I dropped like a day and a half ago. For whatever reason, it was shadow banned as well. Nobody really got to see that video either. I would highly encourage you to go and watch that. And the Donald Trump video I dropped right before that, right? It was some vintage clips, some older clips that I've dropped like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I included some information from that time. This is really, really, really important, okay? Again, please hit the like button on your way in. We're going to go ahead and hop into this so that, again, I want to make this live about maybe an hour, a little bit over an hour and a half. I have a 2:30 meeting that I have to get to. So let's go ahead and hop right into this, man. And we're not playing any games today. All right. We're going to point out several things, but let's first listen to Candace. I turned it up just a little bit to 1.2 speed. Let's hear what she had to say.
All right. I'm obviously supposed to be off this week, but obviously I needed to come back because I wanted to address Mr. President Donald Trump. He is obviously arrived at a moment, and I just wanted to hopefully these words will get to him. So I'll just say that. Dear Mr. President Trump, I've always been a fan of gladiator movies. I have watched them all countless times. Everybody who watches this podcast knows that. And when I consider what it is that I am so drawn to, like, is it the actors? Is it the storyline? Yeah, in part, of course. Who could deny, like, the performance of Russell Crowe in the first film? But above all of that, the characters, the script, there sits this sort of incontrovertible truth that I am absolutely fascinated by, which is the fragility of empires, right? What is it ultimately that collapses an empire? What makes an emperor weak or an emperor strong? I think more to the heart of the matter, the question is, what is it that makes a king or an emperor feel threatened initially, right? The setup of every movie is always the same. You have the wealthy elites, the politicians perched above a Colosseum, slaves fighting to their deaths beneath, all for their distinct entertainment, obviously. And then comes the inevitable narrative flip. Suddenly, the elites and their scribes and the senators, they perceive a threat.
Never, and I mean never ask, how are you?
Oh, how are you?
And when does that happen? That's actually not a rhetorical question, Mr. President. I know the answer. It is when a slave begins to command the crowd. Every single time, without fail. That's when the politicians begin to feel worried. And what is of particular interest to me about that moment is that the slaves, on their end, they never desire the seats of the politicians, right? They just want to have their most basic needs met. In most circumstances, they'd happily would serve some sort of structure of governance forever if their basic needs could be met, but it's proven to be a historical impossibility, right? Inevitably, we arrive at the moment of political extravagance, the fabled let them eat cake moment. They just can't stop, right? There can be absolutely no truth between a master and his slave for that reason. The nature of the relationship forbids it. And I think about this a lot now, very often, mostly in the context of our late mutual friend, Charlie Kirk. I think to myself, when was the exact moment that Charlie Kirk understood that he was not free? That he had money and that he had fame, but he did not actually have freedom? You know, between you and I, whoever it was that made the decision to kill him was correct in their assessment that he was indeed a threat, because Charlie Kirk could command a crowd. He was capable of that.
It's true.
So much so that he actually, if you think about it, he's been dead for 7 months and the crowd still moves on his behalf. That's incredible. That is real power, Mr. Trump.
Allegedly.
You should ask yourself, how did he achieve it? I would offer it's because he never sat above, perched, looking down at the slaves, right? Charlie understood how movements were built and, more crucially, how they were sustained. Someone actually said to me shortly after his death that Charlie was a maestro. He understood that every instrument was needed to command an orchestra. The strings, the woodwind, the brass, the percussion, all very different sounds, but he could hear them each brilliantly, each section. And at various times, he would conduct one sound above the other, more flute, less violin, or cello. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, different instruments, to be sure. But only a fool or someone under the express direction of one could have thought to hit send on what you published on Truth Social last night. And I think that we should read it together, Mr. President, shall we? Okay, here's what you wrote. You wrote, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They are stupid people. They know it, their families know it, and everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They are nut jobs, troublemakers.
You know what's so funny about that? Because Candace isn't going to say, I don't think she's going to say it in this clip, but it's important to note that whoever typed this, because my first sort of pushback to Candace's response, or not even pushback, sort of the critique that I would make, or the adjustment I would make, is this is not Donald Trump typing this. I've said this before. If you're a Patreon member, then you know we've been talking about this for some time. I've been saying for a while, I don't believe that Donald Trump is the person. Not only do I not believe that this is not Trump typing this, I don't even think these are Trump's thoughts. I think there are other people that have been making decisions for Trump, and not just Trump. For those of you that are previously MAGA, wherever you may stand, this is not a right versus left. I believe the same thing for other presidents, especially President Biden. I believe other people are making these decisions for them. Some people may call them handlers. Some people may call them assistants. But I think it's a lot deeper than that. But it's the ironic thing about what this post has already said is that The reason why Tucker Carlson was allegedly fired from Fox is quite literally because he supported Trump. Now Trump is saying he's teasing Tucker Carlson for getting fired for supporting Trump. Whoever's typing this didn't think this through. The second thing is Candace Owens, any given day, whichever, depending on how the wind blows, any given day of the week, she's the #1 podcaster in the world. That's not a fluke. That's not a gimmick. It's because the tides have turned. It's because of sort of the narrative that's being pushed. But I also have to state at the same time, simultaneously, remember that Freemasons love duality. What do I mean by that? They love to play the villain and the hero. They will supply both the hero and the villain, even though these people are on the same teams. That they will supply you the Democrat and the Republican, and they will make you think that you have the illusion of choosing. They will make you believe that you have the illusion of hope, of really improving the country. Gas prices will decrease, right? Food prices will decrease. Healthcare will work itself out, right? The roads and the bridges will get fixed in this country, but it won't, because that's not what this empire is destined to be. We're right at 250 years, and our time is about up. That's just how it goes. That's a part of the plan. But again, we're going to get to that with the Illuminati card game, because while people will call it conspiracy theories and you're just pointing to cards, but you don't have any proof, I'm going to break that down to you here in just a moment. So when you have a person like Owen Schroeder, which I like a lot of his content, I like a lot of the things that he's been saying. For those of you that don't know who he is, he's the guy who got jailed for being at the January 6th event back in 2021. He just posted a video yesterday saying, and posted on X, suggesting an idea, a theory, and some sort of plan. He said, should we now vote for Democrats to punish the Republicans? No. You still think that voting Democrat is going to make... I want to make sure, because I thought the way he titled this video was so interesting. So let me make sure I get this right. If this phone will act right, man, act right. He says, where's the video title at? Yes, is it time to vote for Democrats to punish the spineless Republicans? Bro, what? Bro, what? You keep that up, I'm going to think that you're part of the controlled opposition as well. But I'm digressing. I just want to point out that hypocrisy there at the very beginning of this post already. All right, where am I going?
And they will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think they can get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them. And their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. Okay, let's park it there. Right? Let's just chew on that portion right there first, because it is a stunning break from reality. So I'll ask the question, do you have any idea why it was, Mr. President, that your old tweets, the sentences you used to say, which were typically definitely insults back in 2015, but do you ever wonder why they worked? I can help you, right? It's because they were rooted in some element of truth, okay? So if you called Rosie O'Donnell unattractive, or when you said Hillary Clinton should be in prison, it played to the crowd because although many people thought it was inappropriate and beneath the dignity of a politician, it was based in truth, right? Hillary Clinton's done some things. Now, you can call Megyn Kelly a great many things. I have definitely had my political disagreements with her over the years. Low IQ? Really? Tucker Carlson, low IQ, me, low IQ, the three of us unsuccessful somehow? When you write stuff like that, you just demonstrate nothing but your own irrationality. It just doesn't land. Nobody cares about them anymore. Really?
Because this is not Trump that's writing this. This is bigger than this person y'all are calling Donald Trump. These are the people that's around him. Who even knows that Donald Trump is Donald Trump anymore? But again, that's a conversation for another day. That's because it's not Trump. But and what makes this more frustrating is, have any of these people, and by people I mean Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, a lot of these folks that a lot of us perceive to be quote unquote at the top, that run in these circles, that we're supposed to or expected to believe is not a part of the circus. You've never considered that there are other people typing this on behalf of Trump? And I don't mean typing it physically for him. I mean, these are somebody else's decisions, just like the things that Trump are doing or is doing as far as these wars and the Epstein files and, the wall and illegal immigration not following through and ICE, all these different things. There's a reason for this. There's a reason for this. You've never considered that it's something else going on here, which before I forget this is very important for people to, you cannot forget this part. So Donald Trump, somebody have to explain this to me, and I'm going to come back to this video here just a moment, but I have to say this directly to you all. Nobody finds it weird. And I don't mean weird as in, oh, that's what we're complaining about. No. Let's get on a more granular level. Donald Trump campaigned for years to do certain things, to stand for certain things, etc. Right? We heard him on podcasts, we heard him at his rallies, etc., whether you was a Trump fan or not. I didn't vote for the guy, but I understand why people was behind him. I got it. I understood it. The left had got out of hand. The left, right? Somebody answered this question for me. Why is it when Trump got into office, all of a sudden, the people that hated him, not only were they all of a sudden singing his tunes, this isn't about Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, and Lindsey Graham. Let's focus on Trump. Why would Trump, who spent all this time fighting against those people, get elected and then all of a sudden he's working with those people? Nobody finds that suspicious. He's working with those people. It's because they were on the same team the whole time. It's not because they got in his ear and everybody and their mama can look and see that Trump is not doing the things that he said he was going to do. Duh. Just like all other politicians. Duh. Why did Trump wait until his second term to do it? We all know why he waited until his second term. Because if he did in his first term, he wouldn't have gotten voted back in. I don't believe in voting, but that's a whole other conversation. We don't have to get into that in this video. But let's say voting mattered, or the perception of voting matters. If Trump did this in his first term, even if he was selected by the powers that be to come back into the White House, nobody would have believed it. How did Trump get back into the White House? Now people are really questioning the power of voting. Does voting actually work? Does it actually count? Because nobody would have believed it. You have to wait until your second term. But in the middle of that, we're going to create this illusion that the deep state is after you. We're going to have a couple of assassination attempts. We're going to make Biden and Kamala make this country terrible, drive it into the ground. Now there's a demand for you. How is it that Trump got into the White House and the closest people to him were his sworn enemies? It's not like we're questioning Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and saying, why do you all of a sudden like Trump? That's not the question. The question is, what happened to Trump? What happened to Trump? We all know. Why are you all not asking that question? Some of the biggest podcasters in the world. Why are you not asking the real questions? All right? That's the real question here. But let's continue.
You're the leader of the free world and you're tweeting about us. I think that means somebody cares. Actually, what nobody cares about anymore and what you seem to have an inability to comprehend is that traditional cable news no longer moves the needle. Cable TV is a dying medium. FDR, he used the radio, right? His voice, the fireside chats, it worked. It moved audiences when it was new. And when the world transitioned there, and then suddenly it was the dawn of television, JFK's good looks on the screen, that served him. And he used that. Once again, fast forward to today, and the world is technologically advancing. Yet you're launching insults at what you don't comprehend. Joe Rogan is not going to do Fox News hits. Do you understand this? He is not trying to get on CNN. None of us are. I don't know how else to help you understand. You are quite literally mocking people because they comprehend something that you don't. Tucker Carlson is more powerful than you. Deep down, I think you know that. I think you resent that, which is proven by your next lines. Let's read on. You continue, MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN a 100% approval rating of Trump, not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson who couldn't even finish college.
So just real quick, that part is extremely important to just think about what was just said there. This person posing as Donald Trump, posing as the president, claims that anybody with with the sane brain, with the sane mind, would know that nobody believes that 100% of your base supports you. That's impossible. There's always going to be some pushback, right? Even if you can make the argument that the comments under your posts are bots, which a lot of them are not. Even if you can make that comment, we all know it's not. Give us 90%, bro. Give us 95%. That's still like unheard of. 100%. What I'm getting at here, people, is that this is supposed to make you question Trump. Again, they believe in duality. They want you to question Trump. They want you to be against Trump right now. And that is a very good way to do it. Let's put something so outrageous, so ridiculous that nobody would believe this. Nobody would believe 100% of MAGA. Clearly, nobody would believe this. So let's put this in there. Clearly, everybody can see this is for what it is. Right? Come on now.
He was a broken man when he got fired from Fox, and he's never been the same. Perhaps he should see a good psychiatrist. Okay. Obviously, Tucker Carlson is in his prime. The whole world understands that. That sentence, he couldn't even finish college. Are you aware that your base is comprised of blue-collar workers who never went to college? Many who never so much wanted to go to college, never dreamed it. The farmers, the ranchers, the plumbers, the electricians, the people who work with their hands. You now stick your nose up to all of those people. Do you know who else didn't go to college? Charlie Kirk didn't go to college. Also, those men, many, I would say, a lot of the men and women that you and Pete Hegseth want to send to their deaths in the Middle East, many of them, probably most of them, didn't go to college. And let me be perfectly clear here when I say that each and every one of them is infinitely more smart and more capable than you and the people that you surround yourself with in this moment. But let's continue, because CNN says you've got 100% support. You write, or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question, or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close.
This was the part when I watched it yesterday that I said, "Oh, if it's ever been more clear that this is not Donald Trump speaking." Not that Donald Trump does not say crazy things, right? You're free to disagree with me here, but I feel very confident about this part. This is somebody else, a ultra Zionist, let me be clear, saying this on behalf of Donald Trump. What they're doing is they're showing their allegiance. What they're doing is they're showing who they're in alignment with. You don't know these world leaders like that, right? Really? Right? You meet with these people a few times a year, you do business, you have meetings, and you move on by yourself. You don't really know who these people are and what they do behind their closed doors. So why would you go so far to say that? Well, what if, just a theory, what if it's somebody around Trump, I don't know, just throwing out a name, like a Howard Lutnick, or one of these other people that surround themselves with Trump? What if it's one of them that's saying, what are some of the most outrageous things we can say that shows our allegiance, and throws up a middle finger to these other folks? Let's take one of the biggest controversies surrounding Candace Owens, that being the Brigitte Macron story, and let's just not just show that we disagree with her. Let's go a step further and say that we know for a fact that she's a woman. How you know that for a fact? Not only that, we're going to go even a step further. We're going to say how much more beautiful she is, or he is, than Candace Owens. Nobody believes you, bro. But it's meant to be that way. Don't get lost. Because Candace is about to repeat how ridiculous this is, but don't get lost in the point that I'm making. It's supposed to be ridiculous on purpose, so that you can step back and be like, all right, Trump, even I've been rocking with you, but how do you? Because they're trying to force people. I made a video like a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, about maybe 9 months ago. And I said, everybody that's upset was when the Epstein stuff first started coming out, and Trump was calling people weaklings, and he don't know why people are so focused on him. He wasn't important. He didn't impact people's everyday lives, and he's been dead for how many years? I said, everybody's upset. I want you to understand something. He's not going to stop. This is what Trump's supposed to do, and it's only going to get worse. And what happened? It only got worse. That video was 9 months ago. I dropped a video 2 days ago reiterating this and showing and connecting it to the Illuminati card game, but we're going to get there because it's more than just what the pictures show. I'm going to connect it to Charlie and some things that Candace wasn't willing to say. She hasn't realized. I struggle to believe that she hasn't realized some of these things, but we'll get there.
This Brigitte Macron.
That's clearly
who did you write that sentence for? Not even Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron applauded that sentence. Okay, they said incroyable. It doesn't help. Sometimes propaganda, when it's too naked, actually just hurts the cause that it purports to support. What is your obsession with Brigitte? This Brigitte Macron in the swimsuit? You think that you can command people, men, straight men, to suddenly think that Brigitte is hot? Did you date Jean-Michel Trogneau? Are you gay? Why are you so obsessed calling me from the White House? Stop talking about Brigitte. Is it a physical attraction truly that you had there back when he was better looking, I suppose? Did you sleep with him when he was a man? Do you think people care? To your point about, I hope she wins money since it's all you see, gold, shekels. Do you think your base cares when the subject matter is children that are being statutorily raped by their supervisors? Do you understand that no one in MAGA, in true MAGA, cares about money above truth and protecting children? Did you connect?
Oh, I know what you mean by that statement, but have you ever heard of a Brandon Tatum? How about a Laura Loomer? How about a Ben Shapiro? Especially Officer Tatum. That dude is so disgusting. Benny Johnson, I mean, he's turned the tide here a little bit, but I'm suspicious about his behavior. I think he's supposed to be, quote unquote, questioning Bibi Netanyahu so that he can then, now that he's created some leverage with the people who are anti-Zionist, to try to convince them to be a little bit more lenient, right? So I'm keeping a close eye on Benny Johnson. But Officer Tatum, I mean, we already know that the guy's low IQ, but oh my gosh. When Trump just keeps doing things that gets worse and worse, and you don't even flinch, you pretend that this was the plan all along. Bro, come on, man. Do you have any spine, any backbone, any integrity?
That dot, when we revolted against you saying, what about the Epstein files? That seems to be a theme with you. Protecting people who harm children. Why do you keep doing that? Why do you want people to be sued for standing up to that class? We continue. Let's go back to your message conclusively, right? Or bankrupt Alex Jones, who says some of the dumbest things and lost his entire fortune as he should have. It's all about money for you, Trump, isn't it? For his horrendous attack on the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims, ridiculously claiming that it was a hoax. These so-called pundits are losers, and they always will be. Now, fake news CNN, who you just cited as saying you have 100% support. So are they fake or are they real, Trump? Now, the fake news CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left news organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. They are not MAGA. They are losers. Just trying to latch onto MAGA. As president, I could get them on my side anytime I want. But when they call...
Trump does not even speak that way. This is more proof to me that this is somebody else's... It's not just because obviously he can take what he said and have AI or ChatGPT reconstruct it for him, but essentially it still came from Trump. I just struggle to believe even this part came from Trump. This is somebody trying to think on behalf of Trump, and they're typing this for themselves. What's the meanest things I can say here? There's something else going on with these presidents in this country that, and we'll get there, that Tucker Carlson is willing to say for whatever reason. I know a lot of you all are skeptical of Tucker, and you have good reason to be.
I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs. And after a few times, they go nasty, just like Marjorie Trader Brown. But I no longer care about that stuff. I only care about doing what's right for our country. MAGA is about winning and strength in not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapons. MAGA is about making America great again. And these people have no idea how to do that. But I do, because the United States is now the hottest country anywhere in the world. President Donald J. Trump. Was that written by Mark Levin?
That right there. See, like she was on to something. She's going to break away from that because I think she's just saying this is tongue in cheek or almost rhetorically. But no, Candace, like legit. This was not written by Trump. It's very clear that this was written by somebody else who is really in charge or closer to the people that are in charge. But again, we'll get there.
Like when he was 6, or who put this message together? The hottest country in the world because we're bombing kids for no reason, because we just killed 150 schoolgirls for no reason, because you guys just lied about 6 of our servicemen who died. And they had to leak that to CBS News, that you were lying about what was happening. Is that what makes us hot Is Hot Girl Summer being led by Brigitte Macron and people who attack people, other journalists for telling the truth? What's going on? Who put this message together for you and hit send? You're citing CNN, but you're also dissing CNN for having produced certain polls. I don't know. You just told us that we couldn't get on CNN, but now you're saying that we have good coverage on CNN. You're all over the place. It seems like you can't put together a coherent thought. Let me tell you something, and this is just reality, okay? Going back to just the rules of the jungle. Okay, let all the politicians and advisors around you evaporate for just a moment. Just you and me, ready? People will not fight beside, behind, or for someone who is fundamentally disloyal, okay? If disloyalty and deceit is in your nature, then I highly suggest that you combine it with silence. You can be what you are, but I would advise you do it quietly, Trump, because MAGA is no longer commanded by you, and you know it. You know it. You belong to the Epstein class. That is your legacy now. People will see your name on buildings, whatever was agreed upon in those boardrooms, Jared Kushner, Trump, Gaza, hotel, whatever you tweeted, so crass. They will see that. You will earn that.
This is the part that got me so confused, because if I'm gullible and I want to give Candace the benefit of the doubt, I want to say, no, I fully understand. I get where she's coming from. But if I'm being honest, having a heart-to-heart with the president like this is kind of weird, from the sense of, Candace, you got to know that something bigger is at play here. You have spoken about Freemasonry and the ruling class often on your channel. Why is it when it comes to Trump that goes out the window? No, let's talk about it now. You do know that there's something else going on here for this person, Trump, to be speaking this way and behaving this way with the very people that's been supporting him from the jump. These are people that not only claim to have voted for Trump, but these are people that encouraged all of their millions of followers, subscribers, and supporters to vote for Trump. Why would Trump be behaving this way? Well, because, I think we know why. But why are we pretending like Trump is just upset and he has other plans now and it's that simple and he's just mad that people don't like it? That's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on here.
And then when they see it, they will think about how many children had to die or be raped by men on islands so that you could stick the Trump name upon a building. And for clarity, Mr. President, that's not my fault. That's not Megyn Kelly's fault. That's not Tucker Carlson's fault. You made that trade. You chose money above respect. And what an absolute shame that you chose to do that.
No, he didn't. He did not choose money. He chose legacy. And this was all a part of the legacy. This was all a part of the plan. It's not that simple. It's not about no money. Trump was rich before this. Why do people keep saying this? Yes, insider trading has been taking place. Brian, the auditor, he exposed that months ago on the channel. Yeah, sure. Insider trading has been a thing. Donald Trump Jr., all of these people are corrupt. Why do people think it's as simple as money, though? Do you know that simply being the president one term, that's all Trump needed to be rich for the rest of his life? What do I mean? Yeah, he probably gets, what is it, a $400,000 salary and Secret Service security for the remainder of his life, if I understand and remember that correctly. But it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. The endorsements Trump would have, the clout that Trump would have, the support, the partnerships, the the collaborations. This dude could collaborate on just a few, real estate deals, rich for the rest of his life. It's not about that. After you had 20 and 30s and 40s and millions, tens of millions of dollars on the brink of being a billionaire or became a billionaire, how much more money can an 80-year-old man want, and why? We know it's not about money then. So what is it about? It's about Freemasonic agendas. That's what we need to be talking about here. That cannot get lost.
For the end of your life, okay? Because you can't take money and things and stuff with you when you go, just your soul. And you sold yours for what? Another gilded ballroom? Let me be perfectly clear when I say this. Charlie Kirk, he died free. You will most certainly die a slave. Okay.
Okay, that's the part I was waiting on. No, Charlie Kirk did not, allegedly, in my opinion. I don't think he did. It's still up in the air for me if he even passed away, but if he did, It's up in there if he died free. What do I mean by that? Let's not be revisionist when it comes to history. Yes, Charlie Kirk began to question things. Charlie Kirk began to do certain things. He did say that they have left me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. He said these things allegedly via text. Got you. But publicly, Charlie Kirk was still 100% in alignment with these people. They were giving him a hard time. He weren't really giving them as much of a hard time as they were giving him. I respect Charlie Kirk for having people like a Dave Smith come and debate and completely demolish a Josh Hammer, which I said at the time on my show in my Nick Fuentes documentary. I said I personally believe that at the time, before everything happened with Charlie, I believe that Charlie Kirk was using people like Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly as vessels. He was using them as third parties to express what he had come to start to believe, which I don't know how he had already seen this years ago, but that's a conversation for another day too. That's what I believe was taking place. But the biggest point I want to get to here before I digress too much, the debate that happened in July, Dave Smith versus Josh Hammer. Dave Smith, I don't care if we're being objective, wiped the floor with Josh Hammer. It wasn't even close. Dave Smith was debating the pro-Zionist debate. Josh Hammer was having a Dave Smith's character debate. I mean, two different stratospheres in intellect and substance. What am I getting at here? During that debate, where Charlie Kirk allowed Dave Smith to come, and he knew how great of a debater Dave Smith is. He knew the talking points. He knew that Josh Hammer was out of his league. He still allowed it to happen. But what did Charlie Kirk say? He still decided to take a moment within that debate to say, but this Jew hatred thing, there's no place for it. It's brain rot. What was the point of saying that? Dave Smith doesn't fit into that category. He's literally Jewish. Josh Hammer clearly does not fit into that category. There isn't a large group of people in this country. You can't convince me of that dislike the J community simply for being J. Stop it. Just like you can't convince me that there's this alarming rate of people that dislike so-called black people simply for being black. It's the pro-Zionist cause that is the problem. Stop making them synonymous and interchangeable. Why did Charlie Kirk decide to say that? We know why. Charlie Kirk is like a street rapper. You know what a street rapper is? One that got 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the rap game. You got to pick one, bro. As they always say, you can't be in the streets and be a rapper. Something's not going to work out. You going to the feds or you going to the graveyard. Charlie Kirk had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Pick one, bro. What you doing? So when you say free, it makes it seem as if Charlie Kirk was fully ready to expose them. I give him credit. He was saying some stuff. He was questioning some things about Israel, for sure. But he seemed more disgruntled and just frustrated with the lack of support from the people that had been funding him at that point in time, about September 10th, than anything else, to me. And that's just from a surface level perspective. We're not even talking about from a esoteric perspective, because I don't want to digress too much here.
You are in chains right now, and the entire world can see that perfectly. At best, what you can hope for in this moment is that maybe one day upon the college campuses that you so deeply cherish, they'll teach all about your now tarnished legacy as the perfect modern day example of Plato's allegory of the cave. You're familiar with that one? The prisoner chained in a cave, multiple prisoners chained in a cave with a fire burning behind them, mistaking shadows on the wall for reality. And when one of those prisoners escapes and makes it outside of the cave and into true daylight and sees, oh wait, that's not reality, and they return and they try to tell the other prisoners, no, there's truth and there's actual reality outside. They fight that person. They don't believe it. They call that person crazy. That's you. You are chained inside of a cave right now. And who's making those shadows on the wall, right? At best, the annals of history, I think within them, you will be relegated to a philosophical discussion. The madness of President Trump. People will ask, who made Mr. Trump believe the shadows on the wall were real? The professor will chide the class. And in essays, students will cite the example of the man who was once considered a leader of a movement suddenly reduced to sitting on the side in the Situation Room at the White House while the leader of a foreign country, Benjamin Netanyahu, stands above him, convincing him that Iran represents an imminent threat which can be crippled within weeks? Yeah, the students in that class will be mystified. It will be such a compelling examination. Good discussion. Bibi is your master. Maybe it's Miriam Adelson that lights the fire and Bibi that makes the shadows on the wall. But the entire world recognizes that now. And though I highly doubt that you will be permitted any opportunity to see what the crowd now thinks of you, I have to do my best to try. So here you are. Take a listen.
I don't know who's whispering to this guy's ear, like freaking Grima Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings, but they're telling you wrong stuff, bro. Half of the people that I grew up with in this movement are not on Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin's team. Okay, we aren't neocons. We aren't warhawks. We want America first. And if you make me choose between America first and MAGA, it's America first all day. That's what MAGA was supposed to be. You were just the best vessel for it, bro. Don't get it twisted.
But as bad as he is, as corrupt as he's gotten, the insider trading, all of it, I'm really glad he's differentiating and saying, you're not with me, because I'm not with you. I don't want to be at your cool, corrupt kid, Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein class table. Thank you so much for delineating that I'm not with you, a sinking, burning ship. He wasn't loyal to his original mission. He wasn't loyal to America. He became a creature of Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, and all of his never Trumper enemies are now the courtiers with the madness of King Lear, telling him the lies and worshiping him.
He did not become anything other than what he was. He was always that. Look at this.
And worshiping him the way he wants to hear it, and I am not one of those people.
This proves one of many things. The first thing, he shouldn't be in office anymore. Implement the 25th. He's not loyal to this country, and he's not loyal to anybody. Well, except for that little country in the Middle East. It's almost like he does what he's told. And the last president to tell that little country no was JFK, and we all know what happened to him. It's like Donald Trump. How can you call them losers when you lose to Bibi Netanyahu in Israel every single day? When's the last time you told them no to anything?
He said Brigitte Macron is far more beautiful than Candace Owens.
All I can say is he's blind.
Okay. Look, I was waiting because I don't have as much time. So let's get to the most important part of this video. The part that I hope most of you have stuck around for. But first, I need to say what Candace is going to later say in this video. I just don't have time. There's like maybe another 20 minutes in the video, and I don't have that amount of time, additional time. Candace Owens said that Charlie Kirk literally helped Trump get elected. No, he didn't. Nobody helped Trump get elected because the people didn't get Trump into office. The people that are the never Trumpers are a part of a class of people, allegedly, that actually is responsible for getting Trump in office, but we're about to prove that. She's also going to say that Miriam Adelson, according to her, Charlie Kirk told her that he was present when Miriam Adelson offered Donald Trump the money. And what Trump allegedly told Charlie Kirk was that he's going to take Miriam's money and then he's going to F her over. Right? I encourage you all to go and watch the rest of Candace's video. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But that's what she said. And then a few weeks later, the Butler situation happened, which led people to believe that maybe they had something to do with it. They told Trump, look, this is what almost happened. It's going to happen again unless you get yourself together. You're free to believe what you want. This is what I'll say. Before we get into this, I'm going to preface this. In a way that you can't deny it. Is there a such thing as Freemasons in this country? The answer is yes. It's undeniable. It's irrefutable. Yes. There's everyday Freemasons. A lot of you all have them in your family. Let's get a little bit more granular. Is there a such thing as Freemasons in powerful positions in this country? We all know the answer is yes. Let's get a little deeper. Is there a such thing as Freemasons in powerful positions in this country that follow the very things that they teach in Freemasonry? Well, duh. Why would you be in something and you don't adhere to the rules? You don't adhere to the teachings, the rituals. Do Freemasons engage in rituals that they are sworn to secrecy? Duh. Are a lot of people in powerful positions in Hollywood, politics, media, are they Freemasons? Verifiable Freemasons? Yes. Even the ones we can verify does not mean that they're not Freemasons. A lot of them we can verify. What am I getting at here? Well, if you just say yes to every single question, you're in a really tough position if you're about to try to deny where we're about to go with this. Because if you want to call anything I'm about to share with you a conspiracy theory, we just established that Freemasonry is real. We just established that a lot of the presidents, most presidents, all presidents except for 2, if I remember correctly, on paper. I have reason to believe that all of them are. But all of them except for 2 on paper, tracing their lineage, their bloodline, are related to each other. You think that's a coincidence? I thought this is an open market, a free market. We get to decide. How are they all related? We also know that it dates to the royal family. The royal family are Freemasons. That's not a conspiracy theory. Most presidents verifiably are Freemasons. Did you hear what I just said about Freemasons? Let's go a step further. This is a guy by the name of Steve Jackson. Anybody know who Steve Jackson is? Well, don't worry. We won't have time to waste today. Steve Jackson is the creator of something called, let me make sure I get it up on the screen so that nobody's confused. Steve Jackson is the creator of a card game that came out. He created it back in 1981. It debuted in 1982. It's called the Illuminati card game. The Illuminati, the game of conspiracy. Just so people are not confused here, this will be one of the most important lives I've ever done. When they say Illuminati, are you in the Illuminati? The Illuminati is actually a family, a bloodline. What they really mean, and they don't know it, is Freemasons. The powerful ones. Not the everyday local ones. The powerful ones. Well, this is one of them. His name is Steve Jackson. And he created something back in 1981 called the Illuminati card game. In just a year, that being 1982, it actually won an award for the best science fiction board game in the world. Just so a decade later, in 1994, the year I was born, he actually would win the best card game in the world. What's important to not forget as we continue here is that nothing I'm about to share with you took place before 1981. Everything came later. How did they know this stuff? Let's start off with a really good one. Let's start off with the undeniable one. That will be this one here. This is the Enough is Enough card. The Enough is Enough card is one of the cards from the card game. It says, and I want you to listen here because this will be very relevant. It says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. One could take this as a shot at Trump, being that this is clearly Trump here, allegedly. It looks a lot like Trump to me. Looks a lot like Trump to me. I put this collage together side by side so you all can see it. Why is this also important? It says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Well, let me show you all something. I've already shown this months ago, but a lot of you all didn't see it. A lot of you all are new to this. The name of that card game is called Enough is Enough. A lot of you all saw it. Well, let's take a listen to what Trump had to say. I believe this is September of 2020.
As I look out today at this amazing assembly of police, detectives, marshals, and sheriffs, I want to make all of you remember and heed this promise. I will always support the incredible men and women of law enforcement as much.
Watch his hand signs the entire time. A lot of people think this is innocent. Specifically with Trump, it's not. I know Candace does this a lot. I'm still not for sure how I feel about it. But with Trump, it's undeniable that he's doing this on purpose. And there's going to be another hand sign that he does, specifically when he says a phrase that is very relevant to the card I just showed you. Listen closely.
As you have always supported me. The attacks on our police are a stain on the very fabric of our society, and you are entitled to leadership at the highest level that will draw a bright line in the sand, not a red line in the sand that isn't gone over, but a bright line in the sand. And we will protect you, that I can tell you, and we will say enough is enough.
He's going to say what? And listen very closely. This will be the last words he says before the video ends.
Enough is enough.
That's how he ended his speech. So it wasn't like, oh, this is just random words he said in a random speech that you just went and found. No. He specifically, strategically said that at the very end. His hand sign went from the first version of 666 to the second version of it. Oh, it's conspiracy, Satanist nonsense that Didi's pushing. Bro, we just established that Freemasonry is real. We also established that Freemasonry involves Freemasons and participate in rituals. They also engage in hand signs.
We'll say enough is enough.
He went both hand signs that both equal to 2020 666. But I got something else for you. Do you all know, if you've been following this channel, then this is not news to you, that the very last thing that Charlie Kirk would post to his YouTube before September the 10th, let me show it to you this way. The very last post, let's go 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, the 5th row. If you had to guess what the last post was before Charlie Kirk was allegedly taken out, which of these posts do you think it would be? On this row right here in the middle. Which one? Well, we know it can't be this one because it already has the freedom shirt. We know it can't be this one because it has Erika Kirk giving the speech at the quote-unquote memorial. Well, what about this one here that has neither Erika Kirk, Tyler Boyer, Charlie Kirk, none of them? Instead, it has Donald Trump. Look at the title of this video. Enough is enough. Huh? Man, all these coincidences just stack up. Let's take a listen to what Trump had to say in this video. Let's listen to what Trump had to say on the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel. Not what Charlie Kirk had to say. Let's listen to what Trump had to say.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people, really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it.
This is what they decided to push on the enough is enough. Really? We've proven on Patreon, obviously can't show it on YouTube for obvious reasons, that there is a strong chance that this never took place. These are not real people. They use this as propaganda. Again, link to the Patreon is in the description. Look at this comment here to the right. It says, this is his last video ever. You think it's a coincidence that his last video is entitled Enough is Enough and it's Donald Trump? Yeah, okay. We're not done. Let's go a step further, man. Let's go to the charismatic leader. There's a card game called the Illuminati card game. And as I've already established, there were cards in this card game. There's one called Charismatic Leader where he is hosting the crowd. Looks a lot like Trump to me. How would they know this in 1981? Can anybody answer that for me? Nobody? Well, let's move on to another one. And this one is going to be interesting as well because this one is actually going to involve something that I can't say outright here on YouTube. But you all don't need me to tell you what this card game is, quote unquote, predicting. But they're not predicting anything. This is called predictive programming, which is really big in Freemasonry. Play this card at any given time to give power of resistance to any violent group you control. How can they put this out with 2 buildings on display? Let me get this off the screen before they flag the video. We're not done. Let's move to the next one. For those of you that may have seen these, I guarantee you I got some cards that you haven't seen before. Stick around. What about this one? How would they know this with the 2 6s at the bottom? How would they know this? In 1981, they reappropriated or redistributed the card game in 1994, but that, or 1993 or whenever it was. It's still the 90s. How would they know this? Just so you can get a better appreciation for the irony here, check this out. This is a side by side. Anybody want to explain this to me? The top one is called Pentagon. The bottom one is called population reduction. Huh? What's going on here? Let's take it a step further. For those of you that have never done this, you can take the $10 bill, the $20 bill, the $50 bill, and the $100 bill, and I guess we just got another coincidence where you can literally see the very images that they displayed to us when these events took place in America. You can make these events on the money, on the $10 bills. What's going on here? All right. Let me show you another one that I had, a special type of appreciation for. I'm going to look at the chat this time. Anybody want to tell me who is this person? The title of this card is called Backlash. Who does this look like to you? I want to see. I want to see what you all think. Come on, let me hear it. Somebody got to give me. Who does this look like? Looks like Charlie. No, it doesn't. Gavin Newsom. No. I'm going to throw out another name. How about Barack Obama? Now look at it. That looks like a young Barack Obama. Why is this important? Because this card here is called Backlash. There was a lot of backlash when Barack Obama won. You had a lot of people that didn't like him because he was a black man. You had a lot of people that didn't like him because they didn't trust him. You had a lot of people that didn't like him because they didn't know if he was really born in America, right? You had a lot of black folks that did not at the time, and definitely today, do not like Barack Obama. I'm one of them. There's things I appreciate about him. I love his professionalism. I love his swag. I love his personality at times. The things he stands for, the things that he actually did and did not do in the White House, whether he was allowed to do it, maybe he had great intentions, but when he got in there, they didn't tell him that the sink was ship, the ship was sinking. However you want to view it. He received a lot of backlash from all angles. Anybody want to debate that? Yeah. I got a better one for you all. It's really about to get good. You all remember the Las Vegas incident that we can't mention on YouTube? You all remember that incident that took place a few years ago? Tragic incident. Who was the artist that was performing that day? Do you all remember that day? Let me see how many of you all are informed. Who was the artist that was performing the day that the Las Vegas powwowing took place? The PSYOP. Link is in the description to the merch store. Absolutely. Shout out to Tammy. It would be our good old buddy, Jason Aldean. Why is this important? Why is it important to know that Jason Aldean was the person that was performing the day that the whole Las Vegas incident took place? Well, it could be right there in our face, like usual, right there in our face. Well, let's take a look closer look at Jason Aldean's tattoo. And let's bring it back to the Illuminati card game. There's an Illuminati card game called Las Vegas. And as we can see there's what? A Jack of Spades and an Ace of Spades. Well, would you look at that on Jason Aldean's arm? Let's take it a step further. You have the lady here who's performing, and you can literally see her buttocks. Well, look right below the cards on Jason Aldean's tattoo. We have the peaches, which is what the peach, which is quite literally used as buttocks emojis. Let's take it a step further. Above the Jack of Spades, the Ace of Spades, you have a burning hot red sun on Jason Aldean's arm. Well, you have the poker table that looks a lot similar to it. Well, isn't that something? You're gonna tell me this is also coincidence too. Why is it called Las Vegas? Why is Jason Aldean's arm, his tattoo on his arm, eeringly similar, strikingly similar to this card? Shout out to Ian Carroll. He's already done a great job of, in my opinion, proving that was 100% a psyop that day. But again, we can only speak in codes on YouTube. Follow me on Patreon for uncensored and extended videos. All right. So I thought you all would find that one interesting. Let's take it a step further though. If you thought that was interesting, we have, let's see here. Oh, where we at? Oh, what am I doing? We have another card that is called the March on Washington. Here's another incident that I can freely speak about on YouTube. The first and only strike I've ever gotten on my channel was about this incident many years ago. I don't know. I mentioned Owen Schroyer earlier. It was the event that he was allegedly jailed for attending and participating in. It was the same event that our good old quote unquote Fed buddy Nick Fuentes attended. If you haven't guessed it just yet, let me help you out a little bit more. It took place in January of 2021, more so towards the beginning of the month. How do they come out with a card in 1981 called the March on Washington? Look at the signs and the words on the posters here, particularly the triangle with the all-seeing eye on it. How would they know this? How would they know this? Somebody got to explain this to me. How would they know this? Let's read what it says here. It says, play this card along with a plot card that requires an action or actions. This card substitutes for any one action of a power of 6 or less. And there's that number again. 6 or less. Okay. How did they know this? Do they have a psychic ball? Or are they only showing us what the plans are ahead of time? Could it be that Steve Jackson is showing us what the plans is ahead of time? Well, we didn't come to play today. Let's take it a step further. Because there's another card called Epidemic. Now, surprise, surprise, this is another thing I can't freely just speak about on YouTube without getting flagged. So you all will be able to do the work for me. I'll make the chat live on the screen so people can freely say what they want. How did they know this? You know, the event that took place in 2020 that nobody could have predicted, nobody could have known was coming. And just in case you think, well, there are other incidents that took place and there are other epidemics that took place, how do you know it was about that one? Are you willing to down that hill? Because now you're going to have to explain this card. Center for Disease Control, where you can see a scientist or a doctor discovering or accidentally discovering or releasing a new virus. What is this? Y'all still think we voted Trump into the White House? You still think that these things are just taking place? Or do you think it's like this game, it's like this life is a game of Sims. It's like we're the cattle, right? The lab rats. Can anybody explain this card to me? Right? They're interchangeable. These two cards are interchangeable. There's an epidemic and then there's a Center for Disease Control. What they explain to you how the epidemic, then the quarantine would take place. 35 years before. Almost 40 years before. Okay. Well, let's take it a step further. This is one of my favorites. I have to show you all this one. Because this one, I mean, if you were able to muster up some version or some level of explanation for these things, I want to see what explanation you have for this one. Somebody got to explain this card to me. It's called censorship. For those of you that can't see it, maybe your eyesight is not the best. It's called censorship and political correctness. These are two separate cards. Why is this relevant? Well, specifically the second card. I personally want to talk about that one. I want you to read the sign on the first guy. It says, used insensitive pronoun. The card game was created in 1981, won an award in 1982, was then reintroduced, if you will, in 1990, early 1990s. When did pronouns, mispronouncing people, men can be women, men can be cats and dogs, when did that even become, for lack of a better term, an epidemic in this country? When did that become a whole frenzy in itself? When you say in the last 10, 15 years, you can't go much further back than that. 2020, sometime around that time, things got weird with all of a sudden we don't know what a woman is. All of a sudden we know the difference between men and women. All of a sudden, if you just say that you're a woman, you can compete against women. You can go in their locker rooms. All of a sudden we're talking about gender affirming care. What is that? What is this word affirm? How did they do this? Specifically, that granular detail in 1980 and 1990. That wasn't an issue in the 90s. That wasn't an issue in the early 2000s. I'm not saying that transgenders did not exist. Not what I'm saying. This was not an issue. Somebody got to explain this to me. And people are failing to do it. People are failing to do it. Right? Says this isn't a freedom of speech issue. This is a decency issue. We're closing you down. Didn't that start to take place in 2020? People was getting fired. I'm one of those people, but we ain't got to talk about that. People getting fired. Businesses getting shut down. CEOs stepping down because they misgendered somebody. Because they weren't, quote unquote, progressive enough. This is Freemasonic predictive programming. These people are playing games. And just because I want to be relevant, well, let's read what the other one says first. Good thoughts are now required. That's what the second card says. New World Order, political correctness. A word? Is that right? Let's take it a step further. Okay. We got to talk about this one. Now, let's get the obvious one out the way. This card is entitled NASA, where it is displaying, I wish I could zoom in, what appears to be a moon landing that was staged. There's a camera right there as if this is some sort of video shoot with the light shining down, just so you're clear that this is a staged event, quote unquote, allegedly. All right. Why do I also want to talk about this card? Why do I want to share this as the last card? Well, because we just had Artemis 2 take place. You know, the event that happened April 1st of this year on April Fool's Day. It's like they play in our face. Where this time, the difference between Artemis 2 and Artemis 1 is that this time they're actually going to send astronauts to outer space for the first time in so long. Okay. You know what else they did? On April 1st, they featured Kanye West's SoFi concert. Why is that important? Because they used celebrities to help warp and shape the minds of the masses, of us. We're the masses. We're the cattle. We're the lab rats. Why is this also relevant? Because Kanye West would perform on a stage that is one of the greatest visual stage performances I've ever seen, where the stage throughout different times of the performance would turn from an earth to a moon. From an earth to a moon. This is also the same Kanye West or Ye, or the blasphemous name Yeezus, who would drop a music video entitled Father, featuring none other than Travis Scott, where in this video, they display or showcase two astronauts taking the mask off of Kanye West to display an alien, an extraterrestrial being, connecting it to the astronauts with a saucer, a flying saucer displayed outside of the church, which all ties back to Gnosticism. I would highly encourage you go and watch that video. Dropped it a day and a half ago. I would highly encourage you. That video, that Kanye West video, is going to blow your mind. You should go and watch it. And then go and watch the Trump video before that. They are connected. I promise you. And then, yes, thank you. There's a Michael Jackson guy in the back pew of Kanye West's video, which is showcasing to you that Kanye West is not in control of what Kanye West does. The astronauts are. What do you mean the astronauts, Didi? The handlers in the industry. The people that are above. You know, astronauts go to the moon. They're so high, right? Metaphors, similes. Kanye West is not even in control of Kanye West. His handlers are, right? Just like Trump. To tie me back to this, to wrap this video up. Trump is not in control of Trump. That's why it's so easy for them to do what they're doing, because you all are the idiots, myself included. We're the idiots. You really thought that you can vote me in office? You didn't get me in office. I'm Donald Trump, the same Donald Trump that said that I would never. I'm going to show you all this clip before we get up out of here, actually. I need to show you how this. Even though I'm sure you all are aware of this, I want you to hear Donald Trump say out of his own mouth that he would never accept any money from anybody. He doesn't need their money. Just so Trump can do what I probably need to put y'all onto a Twitter page. Me and this guy's been talking the same language for like 2 years. It's sausage something. It's a funny name, twin sausage or something. But we were literally telling people before Trump got back in office, Trump is not who y'all think he is. Trump is going to get into the White House. Of course, we can't predict exactly what he's going to do, but Trump is, don't be fooled. Don't be surprised if things don't go quite the way you think. Sure enough, that's what Trump did. But let me scroll past these new Erika Kirk videos that I've been watching. I saw what she posted yesterday, but again, it's not big enough news for me to post about it. Like I said, I'm only going to talk about it if it's important enough. It was borderline enough, but where is the video at? Where is the video at? Where is the video at? There it is. Here it is. Let me show you all. And you take with this video and you do as you please with it. You do what you please with it. If I can say it and not spray it. Here we are. Shout out to Anomaly. Let's listen loudly. This is the MAGA leader. You know, the only person in history that you're supposed to have an allegiance to when obviously politicians are supposed to have allegiance to the people. Never forget that. Let's listen to what good old Donald Trump had to say.
Because I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. Miriam gave my campaign indirectly, 250 million. She was number one.
Million.
Because I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money.
Yeah.
I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. Miriam gave my campaign indirectly, 250 million.
Yeah. As somebody in the crowd said, yeah. It's almost like he's two different people. What if it's easier for these people to sleep at night because you were never a part of the plan, you being the people, you being us. We have an agenda. Let's pretend to be this. We're going to play this role. Then when we get in there, we're going to flip and do the things we want to do. Duh. You were going to get in the White House regardless, Trump. Regardless. But we had to convince people that it made sense for you to get back into the White House. How? By making them believe that the left was so bad that no one would question it. Which is why I struggle. I still struggle. I know a lot of you all already told Candace is a part of the circus. She's controlled opposition. I'm just waiting for Candace to do something to give me reason to tell y'all that, okay, now she's giving me reason to believe that. But as long as she's saying things that are agreeable, I have no reason to bash the woman. That's what I'll say for now. She's speaking truth. But just know it's a Freemasonic tactic, that being duality, to play both sides. It's called duality. Good guy, bad guy. Good cop, bad cop. White, black. Right? Republican, Democrat. It's a good point. Tanya said, but what is she leaving out? That's true. That matters. That matters. That matters. And the people that are refusing to talk about the things that we discovered in this video today or discussed in this video today, and not just the card games, which that alone should freak everybody out. I don't care if you're into conspiracies or whatever you want to call it. Explain the cards to me. We already established that Freemasonry is real. Explain the cards to me. Go ahead. Do it. I'll watch. I'll listen. Make a fool of yourself. All right? Make a fool of yourself. The people who are refusing to talk about this and keep things surface level is insulting your IQ. That includes the investigators with the Charlie thing. If they're not entertaining all perspective, including Charlie's potential role, they're insulting your intelligence. They're pulling on your heartstrings, and that's it. They believe that you're only surface level. They don't think that you'll get it. Or maybe that they don't get it. Maybe that's possible too. You have to question everything, man. All right, I gotta freaking go. I'm about to be late to my meeting. All right, let me read these real quick. Gina. Shout out to Gina, man. She's officially in the Hall of Fame class on this channel. Hi, Didi. Thanks for everything you do to spread the truth out here. I appreciate you more than you'd ever believe possible. Much love and many prayers for you and the beautiful family you will soon create. God willing, Lord's willing. I actually had the first dream last night about my wedding. Always wishing you the best. You deserve it. Thank you so much. I will spend more time responding, but I'm going to be late to my meeting. That's the only reason I'm rushing through these comments. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat, Gina. Thank you so much, Dust in Descent, for the $10 super chat. Miss Sly, thank you for the $5 super chat. You are so smart and humble. I'm always excited to learn from you. Thank you for your time. Glory to God. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Somebody thinks I'm smart. Doug, thank you for the Doug Sims. Thank you for the $50 super chat, man. I don't get a lot of those. Gina looks out for me. So I appreciate that big time. You're on it, bro. The world is a stage. Today, Charlie was taken out. As soon as I saw the video, I said it was fake. Allegedly. We're on YouTube. Yeah, we tapped in. You sound like somebody that needs to be on Patreon. Even if it's the free version, you might want to be on Patreon. Because we cover that type of stuff. Love your channel. Thank you for the $5 super chat case. Love your channel, Didi. And guys, Freemasonry is definitely a real thing. You think people can worship Jesus and can't worship the devil? Let's just be real. Facts. Facts. One can't exist without the other, right? That's a fact. Stacy, thank you for the $10 super chat. Keep going, Didi. Love your content. Thank you so much. Y'all keep me going for sure. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Please look into Anton Daniels. I'm aware of Anton. His takes have been horrible recently. Somebody must be paying him to convince black people to support this war. Oh, I wasn't aware. I haven't watched his content in a minute. He's been changing here a little bit. Not even with that, but just like the whole debacle with the girl, and he got into an argument with Corey Holcomb, the comedian, and yeah, claims to be conservative, but then he goes on these tangents and does and says things. I'm like, you're not conservative, bro. I don't even use the word grift often, but you doing this for money. It seems like you doing this for money, you know. Shout out to him though. I did not know that. If he's doing that, he may be my next video. Send it to my email, ddmotivates.com. Let me put it. Okay, there it is. That's my email right there. Send me whatever video you think I should react to, and I'll make that my next video or something. And we can see what he's talking about for sure. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I love y'all as always. Please hit the like button if you want to support the work. Another way to do it is to check out my merch. The link is in the description. I have a clips channel. I'm about to officially start posting next week, and they're about to come fast. A lot of clips are about to come. It's going to be dope. If it's the Lord's will and the Lord say the same, all right? It's called Didi Got Clips. I'm going to find a way to post it on this channel, but you can also just search it, Didi Got Clips. Didi space got space clips. Go over there and subscribe. We're already almost at 1,000 subscribers. That's dope. Y'all already showing love. Hit the like button as always. Follow me on social media. And I'm going to get up out of here, man. Y'all take care. Peace.
Oh, yeah. Didi got a pie.
Attitudes and our work ethic become very important in realizing our goals and opening up possibilities. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago with a recent graduate of UCA. And his story is really fascinating. It's one of overcoming homelessness during his time pursuing his degree, first at a community college here in Arkansas, and then finishing his bachelor's degree here at UCA. His narrative ranges from estrangement from family for many years to a hopeful reunion with mother and siblings. His record is one of overcoming odds in a way that I probably could not, and certainly demonstrating levels of tenacity and patience and optimism that I can only marvel at. He wanted to talk with me about his new job and his career path going forward. I really need to be there to learn from him because that's where the real value was.
Everything I say in this video is alleged. Allegedly. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. Y'all just repeat after me. I really appreciate it. Alright? No such thing. Come on, we can do better than that. Talk to me. Talk to me. Alright, let's start it over. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. You're worse than the rich white people or the rich white Jews that own these record labels because they don't even understand these populations. You have a lot closer relationship to these people and you're leading them to hellfire. You are leading them in the wrong direction in the name of getting rich and famous. How dare you?
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.